How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. I've just finished listening to Frank Sinatra singing My Way. And when you listen to the lyrics of this, right, you know, first of all you're thinking, yeah, you know, the guy's cool, you know, he did it his way and he went through life, you know, with no care about what other people thought about him. He didn't make any compromises and all this kind of stuff. But when you look at the guy, you know, he was a heavy drinker, he ate what he wanted and all this kind of stuff. And you know, it just occurred to me that our culture, this is another part of our culture which sort of forces this onto us, you know, this macho image, you know, this macho lifestyle, you know, on the male side, obviously, you know, and there is just the same sort of bullshit, the same kind of an influence on females, right? There's this same, I mean, I really can't speak too much about that because I'm not influenced by that. I'm influenced by the male culture, right? So, you know, from a male perspective, when you look at people like, you know, the Hellraisers, like Oliver Reed for me, Richard Harris, Peter O'Toole, you know, Frank Sinatra, you know, people more modern Hellraisers, Robert Downey Jr. and what's that guy that was in Emilio Estevez's brother, Charlie Sheen. You know, these are all Hellraisers, and when you grow up you think, yeah, these are cool guys, you know. And they're cool because they're doing this and they're sort of living outside their, you know, living their life on the edge, sort of, so to speak. I mean, I talked a couple of weeks ago about this guy who, you know, I always thought was a mad thing to do, but, you know, jumping off the edge of a mountain with a squirrel suit on, you know, the one that you sort of, they fly with this thing on. And this guy's idea of fun was to try and go through like gaps in between two massive boulders or cliffs or whatever it was, you know. And eventually, he hit one of these things and was splattered like a fly, you know. And it's like, well, what do you expect? All you have to do is get it wrong once, you know. You know, but that type of thinking is just, it's everywhere, you know. And the alcohol advertisers try and tap into that, you know, to try and tap into the James Bond style lifestyle, you know, shaken not stirred, that kind of thing. And this is what you do. This is why you're cool, you know. And nobody ever talks about this guy's fucking liver must have been liquid, you know. James Bond, he drank that much. But, you know, we don't hear the downside, we always hear the good side, you know. And this kind of thing is always represented in billboards on the television, you know. If you look at soap operas, all that kind of stuff, it's all time and time again, this culture of drinking and excess is portrayed, no matter where you look, on this cool image of, you know, when you look at modern, I can't remember who it was lately. Oh, David Beckham was some form of brandy, and he's there. You know, this is a family man. I've said this about Conor McGregor, who I really admire, you know. I mean, I admire the guy. I think he's just, from where he came from to where he was, and he just had the determination to do that. And I admire Beckham as well. I think, you know, I once had an argument with a guy in a pub, and they were going, you know, it's a sick amount of money, you know, what he was getting at the time. He'd just been awarded the massive, I think it was a couple of $100,000 a week, something like that, you know, or maybe it was 100,000 a week at the time. And this guy was saying, you know, it's a sick amount of money, you know, it's depraved, you know. And I was saying to him, I says, you mean to say that if somebody offered you that type of money tomorrow, you wouldn't accept it? And he was going, no, I wouldn't accept it. And I was like, yeah, bullshit, you know. Of course you'd accept it, you know. I mean, if you can earn that type of money, you take it. But that's a different story. What I'm saying about Beckham, family man, especially, I mean, how many kids has he got, and he's advertising this drug on the television for more money, you know. So, you know, this is happening all the time, you know. So getting back to what I'm saying is that the culture, the popular culture of the Frank Sinatras and that kind of heavy-hitting, hard-drinking, male role model, I was going to say chauvinistic, but yeah, I mean, that comes into it as well, because they probably were chauvinistic. But this, you know, macho role model, I think that is something that the advertisers always try to tap into. You know, but when you look at the reality behind these things, look at the reality behind Richard Burton. I watched an interview with him the other day, and he was saying, he says it's like a daily sentence on his life, you know, and he never stopped, I don't think. But you know, all these people got into trouble, you know, one way or another, you know, in reality, in the world, because of their drinking and stuff like that, and their fame kept them out of a lot of trouble because they were famous, you know, and they had a lot of money. You know, I mean, their lifestyles were, a lot of the things that they could do were because they had a lot of money, you know. It wasn't because of the alcohol. So anyone who tries to follow that by drinking or by living that kind of hard smoking and drinking lifestyle and thinking that they're going to be like Frank Sinatra, they're deluding themselves, you know. But, you know, that kind of lifestyle is always going to lead you into trouble because your body is not meant to handle that, you know. We're not built for that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's just a media forced delusion again, you know, that's putting these people up in front of us, you know, and giving us all the up of what they're doing and none of the down. And most of what they're doing is a down, you know, unless you're rich and famous, and then you've got a lot of this stuff, you know, like McGregor at the moment. I was watching one of him this morning, and he had a Rolls Royce with his name on the side of it, you know, just a big picture of him on the side of it, and I can't remember what they call him now. Anyway, he had this one word, I can't remember the word of it, but it was just the trappings. And he says, I have this this habit of wanting to spend money, and it's a bit mad, you know, but I also have this habit of making money. So he says that balances itself out, you know. He's right, you know, if you can make the money, you can spend the money. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. The only thing that you can do about this is to train your mind out of the propaganda. You know, that's the only thing you can do. Either not watch the propaganda and try and avoid it as much as you can, or retrain your mind into thinking, well, you know, these people are just trying to make money off my back, off my illness, off my downfall, you know, because that's the only place that this is going to lead me. Is I'm giving them money for a toxin which is going to poison my body. Why am I doing that, you know? Or whatever works for you, you know, but it's to try and de-bullshit your own mind, you know, as much as you can. So that's it for today. I'm going to carry on walking. If you have any questions, I'll leave them down below. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Stay safe, keep the alcohol out your mouth. Onwards and upwards. Take care. Bye.